What's up guys, Loki here, back at it again with another YouTube video. So if there's any questions anyone has, I can now officially answer them. So just leave them in the comment section if you have any questions, if you're confused about the kit. But it has officially been released, and we're also going to talk about the artifacts, which I mentioned in my last video if you watched that. Okay, so Black Swan's a DPS character capable of inflicting the enemy with Arcana through various means. Arcana is a unique form of dot. Basically, it's super wind shear. Black Swan can trigger various additional effects based on the number of Arcana stacks on the enemy target. Traces Viserius Disquits. How do you say that? I've never seen that word in my life. Is that a real word? It is. I feel like I have anxiety or worry.
Disquiet.
Oh, it's just disquiet. Okay. I thought it would be like something else. Okay. So Viserius Disquiet, after using the ability to hit an enemy that has wind shear, bleed, burn, or shock, which is very important. Each of these debuffs respectively has a chance of inflicting one extra stack of Arcana. So this is why you do want to run her with another dot character. This is why she's very, very good with Kafka. You can run her without Kafka. It just takes a while for her damage to ramp up. But just continue here to the skill Goblet's Dredges. There's a chance to inflict one stack of Arcana when a target enters battle. And our skill is Decadence False Twilight. Yeah, our skill is Decadence False Twilight. Every time an enemy receives dot during a single attack by an ally, there's a chance for the target to be inflicted with one stack of Arcana. There's a limit to the number of stacks that can be inflicted on an enemy in a single attack, so you can't just, you know, hit them with all 50, right? Actually don't know what that number is. I wish it would have said here. I actually don't know what that number is, but I know it's a total of 50 stacks on the enemy until you're doing max damage, right? Unless it's been changed, but I'm pretty sure it is. Luma Fate's Caprice increases the damage dealt by this unit by an amount equal to a certain percentage of the effect hit rate, to a limit. And this is why you want really high effect hit rate, even higher than Silverwolf. This is why you want 100, 120 effect hit rate to really take advantage of this damage increase. So the technique at the beginning of the battle is the chance to inflict a stack of Arcana, right? If it's successfully inflicted, the effect will be repeated on the affected enemies until it fails to inflict Arcana on any of them. The re-trigger chance of inflicting Arcana will be lowered with each successful Arcana inflicted on the target. A normal attack does wind damage with a chance of inflicting one stack of Arcana, and if the hit target currently has wind shear, bleed, burn, or shock, each respectively has a chance of inflicting an extra stack. And let's just go to her Lycone real quick. Let's just read her Lycone. Increases the wearer's effect hit rate 40%. Incredible. When the wearer deals damage to an enemy inflicted with wind shear, burn, shock, or bleed, they will individually gain one stack of profit. This can be stacked up to 4 times in a single battle. Each type of dot can only generate one stack of profit. Each stack of profit increases the wearer's attack by 5%, and the dot they deal will ignore 7.2 of the target's defense. Hence why I said to run obviously you want to run the dot set on her, because you're gonna, if you are running your signature Lycone, you're gonna stack up that defense ignore, and you're gonna see some really big numbers from her, especially if you're running her with a Kafka. There's also other Lycones on the banner. It's actually a really good banner for Lycones. Like, this is a really good Lycone banner. Normally I would say, like, if you really like the character and you really want like their full potential, then you pull in the Lycone banner. It's not as horrible as Genshin Impact. It's only 75-25. You know, knock on wood, but I've yet to lose one. I've gotten like 6 or 7 signature Lycones, so I'm sure I'll lose one eventually though. But this is incredible Lycone for Kayla. You can put it on any Nihility character, but this is a fantastic Lycone itself. And then Dance, the king of MOC. This Lycone is the king of MOC. Most, if not all, zero cycles that you watch has their Ting Yun or Bronya on this Lycone. Those zero cycles I'm not gonna say they wouldn't be possible. They would be a lot harder to accomplish without Dance, being able to push you back into the first cycle. And then we have a new Lycone, Indelible Promise. Increases the wearer's break effect by 28% when the wearer uses their ultimates. Increases their crit rate by 15%, lasting for 2 turns. Interesting. I'm trying to think who to put this on. What is it? Destruction? This would be good for oh, I forgot her name. Shui. This would be really good for Shui. This is a pretty decent force option for Shui. Because she does need crit rate, crit damage, and break effect, right? She's just annoying to build. And this can help you out a bit with that. In addition to that, real quick before we finish with Black Swan, I want to talk about these 2 new artifact sets, right? The first one is the Pioneer Diver of Dead Waters. So the 2-piece increases damage dealt to enemies with a debuff by 12%, and the 4-piece increases crit rate by 4%. The wearer deals 12% increased crit damage to enemies with at least 2 to 3 debuffs. After the wearer inflicts debuffs on enemy targets, the aforementioned effects increase by 100%, lasting for 1 turn. 24%. So damage dealt would be the aforementioned effects. So the damage dealt would be 8%. So 8% crit rate, and then you're getting 24% crit damage. So you can do like a DPS Silver Wolf if you have really good stats. A DPS Silver Wolf is going to actually be a bit more viable with this set. So actually, that's something I do want to test, is a DPS Silver Wolf. I'm really interested and I'm really excited to test this out. I'm excited to farm a new domain. And then there's character extensions for the 4-star and the banner, or new materials for the 4-star and the banner. So we saw that, and then back to Black Swan. Sorry about the tangent, but where were we? I wanted to go over, I think it's, does it say it here? I wanted to go over it because it all makes sense once you see, I think it's the alt, right? Yes. So the alt applies Epiphany on all enemies for a certain number of turns. Enemies Enemies affected by Epiphany take more damage in their turn. So she also has defense shred, and she's also increasing the amount of damage you do. So she's a very good character. It's just unfortunate her banner's coming out next. Or maybe it is fortunate because we did get a 5-star for free. And okay, so right here, and their Arcana effect is regarded as Wind Shear, Bleed, Burn, and Shock. So after you ult. So once they have, hold on, make sure I'm reading this right. Their Arcana turns into it during the duration of her ult. It counts as Wind Shear, Bleed, Burn, and Shock. And then we saw back here where it said if the enemy target currently has Wind Shear, Bleed, Burn, or Shock, each respective has a chance. So it's helping you build more Arcana stacks on the enemy, basically. After you ult, it rapidly builds. In addition, when the Arcane effect is triggered at the beginning of the next turn, the Arcana stacks will not reset. I saw a lot of people in their videos talking about the stacks are going to reset. With her ult, they will not reset. So yeah, this is why I'm gonna have to see and test it in game if I do end up pulling for her, or just borrow an account from a friend that is going to be pulling for her. But the stack duration, the non-reset effect can be triggered up to 1 time, right? I heard just rumors of Ting Yun being able to give her a 1-turn ult, so maybe you build her with a little bit of energy. I'm not really sure. I'm not sure what her ult requirements are. I'm not sure how much energy she needs to get her ult, but I did hear rumor of a 1-turn ult from her. The stack and then the charges are replenished when you use your ult again, dealing wind damage to all targets. So you can constantly have those stacks not reset. So you do want to battery up her and give her a lot of energy. So it's very important to ult as much as possible, battery up your Black Swan, and make sure you're triggering her ult as much as possible to constantly have 50 stacks on the enemy, or the most amount of stacks as possible. I think the only thing we didn't talk about was the skill deals wind damage to a single target and adjacent targets at the same time. There's a chance of inflicting 1 stack of Arcana on the target enemy and the adjacent targets, and there's a chance of reducing the enemy's defense and the adjacent target lasting for a certain number of turns. This is amazing because that means if you're doing MOC, you can run Pela on like one side, right? And then you can just run Black Swan with Kafka on the other side, if assuming that you do have the correct weaknesses. But her being a defense shredder is huge, and she's also going to ignore a shit ton of defense just because of the 4-piece dot set, and if you do have her signature light cone. So there's a limit for the Arcana stacks. At the beginning of the enemy's turn, when Black Swan causes damage, Black Swan will trigger additional effects that can be stacked based upon the number of Arcana stacks inflicted on a target. Over 3 stacks inflicts Wind Dot to adjacent enemies, and has a chance of inflicting 1 stack of Arcana. Again, you're building those Arcana stacks. They're trying, her entire kit's revolved around building up to the highest amount of Arcana stacks as possible to up her damage. Over 7 stacks, the dot inflicted at this time ignores a certain percentage of the defense of both the target and adjacent targets. You couple that with her signature light cone, you're going to see some big numbers. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.